Look, you already know Git, but you also know the moment you're mid-feature and you need to fix something else. Then you're stashing, switching branches, half remembering what belongs where. Just one rebase away from a complete mess. This is GitButler, a tool that fixes all this. It lets you work on multiple things at once without stashing, and you can even let AI handle the boring Git work. We have videos coming out all the time. Be sure to subscribe. Now, this isn't some random experiment, by the way. GitButler was built by Scott Chacon, one of GitHub's co-founders. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you it on a real repo and give you the straight take on the pros and cons and whether this fits into your workflow or if it's a tool worth skipping. But honestly, I found this tool pretty helpful already, so I'm really excited to dive right into it. Let's go over the setup real quick. Now, this is just a normal repo, nothing fancy, no migration, nothing really. I install GitButler from their site. Now, they do have two options. They have the GUI, which I'm going to use because honestly, it's pretty sweet. Then they do have a CLI version, but since it's so similar to Git already, I did install this for this video. Now that I've fired up GitButler, this is the main interface. I can set my target branch to main. I'm going to authenticate with my GitHub, and that's it. This whole setup takes about a minute. Now, this is the important part. GitButler does not replace Git. It sits on top of it as a layer. So you're still using Git, but without all those commands because GitButler is going to handle that for us. We just get a smarter control panel here. Now, this is where things start to feel different. I make a few changes here in VS Code to this repo. Let me just drop in some new functions here that I've pre-built. So I'm tweaking a little bit of the existing logic in this code base. Normally, all this just piles up in one working tree, and now you don't want to touch anything because, well, we could break it. But in GitButler, I can now create a virtual branch. Watch this. I can drag individual hunks into that branch. There's no stashing. There's no commit this part and then leave that part. And here's really the turning point for us. My working directory never changes. Physically, all the files stay put. Logically, the changes are separated. For commits, I click generate. AI can write a clean commit message. I can also do this. I can reorder commits if I want to, and then done. At this point, Git now starts feeling more flexible, which is really helpful on a larger scale. All that is pretty sweet, if I must say so myself. Here's another moment when things hit really hard for us. Normally, rewriting Git history feels, well, I don't really want to touch that. But in GitButler, it's not that bad at all. I can drag commits around, I can squash them, I can amend them, and if I don't like it, I can undo the whole thing. There's a full timeline of changes, so experimenting feels a lot safer. AI can help again with the boring parts, commit messages, summaries, even PR descriptions. You're still in full control. You're not just staring and watching Git anymore. When I'm ready, I'm going to push this branch. Then I open a pull request straight from GitButler. It plugs cleanly into GitHub, nothing weird, just plugs right in because we authenticated that. There's nothing custom going on here. Plus, your team doesn't actually need GitButler at all. From their side, this looks like a normal PR. All right, now honest take. I love this a lot because I learned Git a little too late, so I found it frustrating to get going, but this was a great tool. You can work in parallel without context switching. I can drag and drop commits, which beats rebasing by a mile. The AI actually saves time if you do integrated it, and then unlimited undo mistakes with Git in a much less stressful way. And right now, it's free in beta. Obviously, with anything good, there are also some negative points to hit on. There is a learning curve, but this was pretty simple, so you can pick it up in less than an hour. It's very GUI first. The CLI exists, but it's secondary. It's still in beta, so bugs are going to happen, right? And plus, if you're on huge repos, people say this can still struggle. And AI features also require your own API keys, just like anything else. But again, the important thing to understand is GitButler isn't replacing Git. It just modernizes how you interact with it. Now, GitButler makes the most sense if you're using AI tools like Claude or Cursor, you're working with stacked pull requests, or you're juggling multiple tasks as a solo dev. Great tool. If you're strictly CLI only or your workflow is super linear, this probably won't click. But if Git already feels like friction instead of a tool, this is absolutely worth trying. It's blown up to over 18,000 stars on GitHub, and a lot of people are calling it a game changer for AI heavy workflows. Some people worry about losing flexibility, but that usually depends on how you look at it. If you try it out, here are a few tips. Just start with the GUI. That's where it really crushes here. Bring in the CLI later for scripts, and if you do agent style AI work, try to integrate the MCP early. It actually seems to deliver on the promise of making Git less painful. At least that's how I feel here using this interface. And now this is going to be what I'm using going forward, at least on a few projects, to really try and see how it builds into my workflow. Check it out, let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you in another video.